the law of dominance. What did we learn? The concept of the law of dominance was we had done a simple cross. Yes. How was the concept? The concept was when the law of dominance. How did we write the cross? Parent plants. Parent plants. What were the parent plants? Tall, crossed with dwarf. All of you will pay attention. After I finish, you will not tell me, ma'am, explain again. Small. Yes. So parent plants, two plants contrasting phenotype were taken. What was the cross? You had written, try understanding, tall and dwarf. What is this? When we write any expression, what is this known as? No. What is this tallness and dwarfness known as? All these things I had explained you the other day. What is this known as? Tallness or dwarfness? क्या बोलेंगे इसको? What is this?
Small.
No, tall. A plant is tall. What is that known as? That feature is known as what? Great. No. That is known as the phenotype. Did we study phenotype, genotype? Did we study character traits? Yes. So now that we write down the tallness and the dwarfness, the tallness of a plant, the purple color, that is the phenotype. What is the meaning of the word phenotype? Phenotype means how does the plant or how does the animal look like? What is the expression of that gene? But now the tallness and the dwarfness has to be written in the form of alleles. How it must be in the pair of chromosome. That is what is known as the genotype. How will we write? Capital T and small t. Why are we writing twice? Because every organism will have chromosomes paired always in the cells. Chromosomes are always paired in the cell. So I told you the other day, how do you understand this type of a condition? Something like if I talk about the cells of this plant as if a pair of chromosome has got this alleles this way. Any pair of chromosome may be having this allele this way in the form of a pair. That's why we are writing it this way. What was the second step? The second step is to find out when this pair of chromosomes will separate, how many types of cells will be formed. So that is what we are talking about as gametes. This pair of chromosomes, when they separate, how many types of cells will be formed? This pair of chromosomes, when they separate, how many types of cells will be formed?
Two.
One type. ये genetics समझने की कोशिश करो. Some of you are just sitting blank. कुछ नहीं समझ में आएगा. I finished the entire story, फिर भी नहीं समझ में आएगा. Try to understand what is happening. It is a pair of chromosome. What is my question? My question is, when this pair of chromosomes separates, how many type of cells will be formed? Type of cell I am saying. Number is 2. Fine. Type कितने बनेंगे? 1 ही नो. एक ही तो बन रहा है. 1 only. This also has the same allele and this also has the same. It is not 2 different alleles. So now we write how many types of gametes? This is 1. I can write twice also. And this is another. Clear? If I write once, that also is okay because they are of the same type. If they are of the same type, you can write once also because in this concept, we are majorly talking about the types of the alleles, types of the genes, types of the offsprings and types of the gametes. Types is more focused. So, majorly we have to describe the types. Next, what did we write? F1 generation. How did we write down the F1 generation the other day? Fertilization between these two. So, fertilization between these two will give rise to what? Again, a pair of chromosome is getting formed. So, what is the pair of chromosome getting formed? It is something like this, right? ऐसे बनेगा. So now we will not write in the form of sticks, we will write this way. तो अगर ऐसे अगर genotype है, then phenotype will be what? Genotype अगर ऐसा है, तो phenotype क्या होगा? Phenotype मतलब क्या? Tall है, purple है, wrinkled है, inflated है, उसको बोलेंगे phenotype. How does the plant or the animal look like? तो अभी इसका phenotype क्या होगा? Tall. But we will write hybrid tall. क्यों? Because this plant is formed after crossing two pure breeds. Pure tall, pure cross, pure dwarf crossed, and then we got this. So that's why we will write hybrid tall. Hybrid matlab combination of two. But why is the plant tall? Because the tall trait is dominant over the dwarf trait. Did we learn dominant and recessive traits the other day? What was the definition of a dominant trait? A trait which expresses in the presence of another trait, other contrasting trait. Any trait. Why is this trait known to be recessive? Because it is not able to express in the presence of another contrasting trait. So, जो trait एक contrasting trait के presence में express हो सके, that trait will be termed as dominant. And the trait which will not be able to express in the presence of the other trait, recessive. If you remember the other, हाँ
Okay, the question comes like what defines recessive trait?
हाँ, तो मैंने क्या ऐसे revision writing practice करा? हाँ, आएगा ना? So now, which trait is recessive? Give a reason. Now, इस concept पे you get a question. Certain traits are inherited but does not express. Explain with an example. Certain traits are inherited but does not express. Explain with an example. Can you write this concept? So what are you supposed to explain here? Yes, in certain conditions when a tall plant is crossed with a dwarf, the F1 plant, does it have the recessive dwarf allele? Yes, it has. It has inherited that. But is that recessive dwarf allele expressive? No. Why no? Because it is a less powerful allele known as a recessive allele. This concept of law of dominance, does it happen in case of human population and animals? Yes. I may talk about, I'm just going a little bit away from the concept, example to understand. I talk about a father having brown eye, the mother is having now blue eyes. The father brown eye, the mother is having blue eye. Can you tell me what is the probability that the child will have what type of an eye color? Brown. Q. Because the type of gametes is this. Fertilization when happening, genotype यही बनेगा. और कोई probability है? Nothing, no other probability. So what will be the eye color of the child? Eye color of the child only has to be brown. Q? Because the brown allele is dominant over the blue allele. Certain traits are inherited. This child is definitely inheriting the allele from the mother also. Inherit हो रहा है but express नहीं हो रहा. Why is it not expressed? Because it is recessive, less powerful. Understanding? So the concept is not only for the pea plants, the concept is also for the animals, even in human. Now, then under what condition will a recessive allele express? Only when it is in the identical. Under what condition will a recessive allele express? All these things the other day I had explained to you. Under what condition will the recessive allele express? Only when it is this way. What is this condition called? Homozygous condition. A recessive allele will only express in a homozygous condition like this. So now this was the extension of the cross. So till here we had studied the other day. And what was the law of dominance? Now this type of a question for 3 marks it will be asked. Explain the law of dominance with an example. So this much you will have to write and then write down the law. Statement of the law always 1 mark. Did we write down the statement of the law the other day? Out of a pair of alleles or traits in the F1, the allele that expresses or the trait that expresses is the dominant trait or the dominant allele. But Mendel was very much curious about. Now let us go back to the concept, try understanding the next theory now, the next law. We have to understand the next law now. What is the next law we are going to talk about? That is known as the law of segregation. Try understanding this. So the third law, which is a bit complicated, easy ho jayega because it is only on concept. Agar concept samajh mein aaya, then everything you'll be able to understand. So segregation, Mendel was very much curious. He was very much sure that these plants must have inherited this allele. This allele, these plants must have inherited. Just like the child inheriting the blue allele, but the blue color not expressing, the brown color expressing. No. Same here. These plants must have inherited this allele, but somehow not expressing this allele, and this is getting expressed. So Mendel, after performing many cycles of experiment also, every time he found in the F1 plant resembles only one parent. F1 plant never resembles both the parent. Is it possible for us that we have the curly hair and the straight hair also? No. We have the beatish hair, the skin color and the fair skin color also? No. So likewise, if I say when we compare our parents and when we look at ourselves, we show only one particular character. In matters of the texture of the hair, the height, the skin color, the shape of the eye, the color of the eye, the shape of the fingers, etc., etc., any particular feature, we show only one trait. So which trait is expressed? The one which is dominant. Yeah. But we also carry the recessive allele. Sare recessive allele also we are carrying. But the recessive allele does not express. So are we inheriting those alleles but not expressing? Yes. Something like the dwarfness. But now, Mendel at the time, he felt under what condition can he show that the plants are expressing the dwarfness. So what he thought? He thought of crossing these plants with, meaning the plants of the first generation. When this type of process he did, maybe he must have obtained some 100, 200 plants like this. So he thought, let me cross this plants itself. So what did he take? He took another hybrid tall plant, same generation ke do plants liye. And then he started process of pollination, allowing artificial pollination happening. And he started growing those plants to see what happens in the next generation. So now, when he did this type of a cross, in the F2 generation, he observed that almost 75% plants were tall. Zyada se zyada plants tall to tha, but then at least some small fraction of the plants were dwarf also. First generation plants तो dwarf एक भी नहीं था. He experimented a number of times, फिर भी first generation में एक भी plant dwarf नहीं था. First generation में एक भी plant का white flowers नहीं था. First generation में none of the plant had the green colored seed. So whatever combination he took, every time he saw first generation plant resembled only the dominant parent, या तो one parent. So that gave him an inquisitiveness that what would happen if I cross the first generation plants now. So what he did? Cross the first generation plants. Next generation में he saw that yes, majority plants are tall, but ऐसे plants भी they are expressing now. Dwarf plants, second generation में possible. He obtained such type of plants. So now if it is the round and the wrinkle, yes, wrinkle seeds were seen. Purple and the white flowers were seen. So he is now confirmed that these plants carried this allele. This allele is less powerful, so cannot compete with this, remain suppressed. And in the next generation, when the pair of chromosome has a identical pair of alleles, then only they are expressed. So this was later established as a concept, as a law, and was found to be true in other different organisms, plants, animals also. This particular concept is known as the law of segregation. Now, how to write them specifically, let us learn. So, now that we are talking about the law of segregation, the concept of the law of segregation ke liye bhi you'll have to start from here. It is not that law of segregation, you have to start from F1, parent plants, gametes, F1. Now, how many types of gametes from here we'll have to understand. How many types of gametes from the F1? Tell me now. How many types of cells from this plant? Understand what I told you here. Now, what it should be? How many types of cells from this plant? Two types. Two types. How many of you have understood this? दो है कि एक है? Meaning, I again write it in the form of a chromosome. ये एक cell है. This will divide to form two cells. So, एक cell में this chromosome and in the other cell this chromosome will go. Cell division, whenever I am saying, always understand during the process of cell division, the paired chromosomes always split up. When one cell is dividing, every pair of chromosome will split up. I talk about a cell, understand. This is a cell which has got paired chromosomes like this. कितने chromosomes है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many pairs I am showing? 5 pairs. So simple basic rule ये है कि when this cell is dividing, paired chromosomes will split, and how many chromosomes will happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. क्या हुआ? What is that concept I am telling you? During the process of cell division, the paired chromosomes they split up. आधा chromosome one cell में, the other half in the other chromosome. Clear है? So this is a concept to remember. अगर वो concept अगर सच है, then if I talk about the division of this cell, then how many types of cells? 2 types. Half of the cell will contain this, and half of the cell will contain this allele. I showed 2 here, but number we are not talking. Number से अभी right now हमें we are not focused about the number. We are only talking about how many types of alleles. Clear है what I am speaking? नहीं? आया समझ में? Are you sure? So I am saying now, if that is true, अगर समझ में आ रहा है, then you tell me. How many types of gametes will these plants produce? How many types of gametes will these plants produce? 2. What are those gametes? ये and ये. आया समझ में? What should be for this plant? ये plant का phenotype क्या होगा? Same है, hybrid tall. How many types of gametes from this plant? Only 2. Same है, same generation plants. Genotype same, phenotype same. So we got the gametes for the F1 plant. We have to get the F2 generation plants now. We have to get the F2 generation plants. अभी F2 generation plants to get, definitely the gametes of F1 has to show the process of fertilization. Gametes of F1 has to show fertilization, then only we will get F2 plants. We are trying to understand that this single chromosomes by fertilization, how will they again form a pair? So these 2 are the gametes of one parent. These 2 are the gametes of another parent. So 1 and 2 gamete of one parent. 3 and 4 gamete of another parent. 1 and 2 के बीच fertilization हो सकता है? Can fertilization happen between 3 and 4? क्यों नहीं? Because they are gametes of the same parent. Can fertilization happen between 1 and 2? I'm just writing for understanding. 1 and 2. Can fertilization happen between 1 and 2? Why not? Gametes of same parent. Fertilization always has to happen between two parents of the same species. So now I have to understand that when one fertilizes with 3, then what is the pair of chromosome form? The pair of chromosome form will be this. When one fertilizes with 4, what is the pair of chromosome form? This. 1 is done. I talk with 2 now. 2 and 3, what is the pair of chromosome form? This. 2 with 4, the pair of chromosome is this. Is this understood? इसको बोलते हैं criss-cross method of F2 generation. Criss-cross method of obtaining the F2 generation. तो अभी जो हमने letters लिखा है इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Pair of alleles जो हमने लिखा मतलब chromosomes. What is this? What did we write? We have written down the genotype or the phenotype? Genotype. Genotype is always in the form of letters. Pair of letters जो हम लिखते हैं उसको बोलेंगे genotype. तो अभी phenotype लिखना है. क्या लिखेंगे phenotype? This is pure tall. What about this one? Hybrid tall. This is hybrid tall. And what about this? Pure dwarf. So right now we are talking about only 4 plants. Out of these 4 plants, remember just now I was talking about that when you obtain the F2 generation plants, 75% plants were tall and only 25% plants were dwarf, right? Yes, is it not 75% plants tall? If I just take a count of 4, तो 4 में से 3 75% हो गया and 25% dwarf. So whatever be the number, he must have obtained 150 plants, he must have obtained 212 plants, he must have obtained 189 plants, that we don't know, that he never mentioned. जितने भी plants मिले उनको in the second generation every time, उनमें से ज़्यादा plants always have the or express the dominant trait. What is the reason? Because the dominant trait can express in the homozygous as well as heterozygous condition. So dominant trait population में ज़्यादा क्यों होता है? I talk about the brown color. The other day also I was telling you this. The brown color of the eye. Why is the brown color of the eye so dominant in the or so frequent in the population? More of us will always have the brown color. Why? Because the brown color allele can express in the homozygous as well as heterozygous condition. But जो blue color है, that will express only in homozygous condition में. That's the reason blue allele, when we come across, maybe our grandmothers, maybe our mothers, if a individual has any individual in the previous 7 generations, right from the parents back 7 generations, anybody has blue allele, that means the person may have a blue allele, but why not express it? Blue will express only when present in homozygous condition, otherwise not. Basically, blue allele, blue eye is very few in a population. So now we have to find out of these 4, a simple proportion we'll have to find out, a simple ratio we'll have to find out, जिसे phenotypic and genotypic ratio कहा जाता है. So what are we going to write here now? What is the phenotypic ratio? Let us write. Phenotypic meaning out of 4, how many of them are tall? Out of 4, how many tall? 3 and 1 dwarf. So what are we supposed to write? Phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Next is we try to understand how many types of genotype. How many types of genotype? How many types of genotype है? कितने तरह के एलील कॉम्बिनेशंस है? चेक. 4 नहीं है. 3. How many types of allele combination hai? This is 1. Pure tall, homozygous tall, heterozygous tall, homozygous dual. कितने तरह के combinations है? 3. Capital T, both the chromosome. Capital T, small t in one chromosome and small t in both the chromosomes. Talking about a count of 4. ये जो count है, ratio है. Now we are talking about 4. वो number जितना भी होने दो, 200 होने दो, 220 होने दो, the ratio should remain the same. Okay. So what is the genotypic ratio? Genotypic ratio we will write 1:2:1. Meaning 1 ये 2 ये and 1 ये. आया समझ में? So that you should not write during the exam, only the ratio to be written. So this is known as genotypic ratio. All of you will complete till here. इसके बाद phenotypic genotypic ratio लिखना है. Very neat and nice. After that, the alternative method will have to learn what is known as Punnett square. Punnett square सीखना है, and this is the crisscross method. फटाफट करो. Neat, nice लिखना है exactly how I have written.
इसका definition भी है.
No, I give you. पहले लिखो. पहले यहाँ तक complete करो. Understood? Confusion है? Understanding? Which chapter has started now? खत्म हुआ, life process done? Done?
Our environment is
Also done.
after that we have started.
Now they have started what?
Now they started
What about others?
control and coordination.
Control coordination started. Heredity they have finished or not finished? Our environment done? Not done. Our environment did we do here?
Yes, no.
We have done. Okay, now done. Finish up. After that, after you are done with this, we will do the alternative method first. Then we will write down the law. What is the alternative method? This is the alternative method of getting the F2 generation. And what is this alternative method known as? This is known as the Punnett square. What is the Punnett square? It is a tabular representation of obtaining the F2 generation by fertilization of the F1 gametes. Since it is the law of segregation, for the law of segregation, the box should contain, the table should contain 3 columns and 3 rows. The table should contain 3 columns and 3 rows. Fatafa complete karo. Make one table this way. And since it is a ruled notebook for you, एक box मतलब 3 lines होनी चाहिए. एक box में 3 lines ऐसे होने चाहिए. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 lines की एक box होनी चाहिए ऐसे. Once you write once, you will get an idea what all the things you have to write in the box. फटाफट एक box बनाओ, table बनाओ. Make it fast. This one, while you are dozing away. Sleepy. It has to be 3 columns, 3 rows. But हर एक box that I have drawn, meaning it has to be 3 lines. 3 lines होनी चाहिए. एक box पर तो 3 lines. 3, 3, 3. अरे ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे नीचे बनाओ मतलब नो पेंसिल ना तो कोई सामान नहीं रहता है हमारे पास 1 2 1 2 3 ठीक है और here हो गया minimum 3 होना चाहिए then only be able to write now start okay so the table that you make has to be neat nice and this side the table that you make has to be neat nice. What are we writing here? This is the F2 generation plans. This is F2 generation plans. So till here, when you write this in the exam, either they will give you questions with the help of Punnett square. You have to explain. If not mentioned, then either crisscross or Punnett square you are doing. So when you are doing the Punnett square, you don't have to do this much. Meaning, this step you don't have to do. Instead of this step, you can after the gametes straight away make that table. Gametes के बाद ये part नहीं करना है, straight away go to that table. So let us write down the gametes there. The first box will have to divide and consider one plant female, one plant male. Write down the gametes of both the plant. What are the gametes of both the plant? Capital T, small t, capital T, small t. And again, I just number them for understanding. Exam में ऐसे नहीं लिखना है. 1 and 2, can they fertilize? No. 3 and 4, can they fertilize? No. Now that you write this side, meaning they are gametes of the same plant. Fertilization not possible. So I have to show fertilization 1 and 3, 1 and 4. So 1 and 3, what is it? What is the genotype? 1 and 3, this one. What is the phenotype? You have to write this way. Pure, tall. Phenotype and genotype has to be neatly written in the box. 1 and 4, what to write? Capital T, small t. What is the phenotype? The phenotype is hybrid tall. 2 and 3, dominant हमेशा पहले लिखना है. Hybrid tall. 2 and 4, pure dwarf. And what about the phenotypic and the genotypic ratio? Remains exactly the same. उसमें कोई change नहीं है. Because it is the same thing, we are doing it in two different ways. Clear है? आया समझ में? फटाफट एक एग्जाम्पल करेंगे. Complete this fast. समझ में आया? Clear है? Very simple. Now once you are done with this, we'll take one example. Complete करो fast. First, let us write down the law. The statement बाकी है. Let us write down the statement first. The law let us write. And then we go ahead with one more example. This is law of segregation. After done, once you are finished with this, write down the law there next. What is the statement of the law, right? So now that we write down the law here, write down always inverted comma. Here we'll have to write the two contrasting alleles of the F1 plant Two contrasting alleles of the F1 plant do not two contrasting alleles of the F1 plant do not mix or blend. Do not mix or blend to form any new trait, but remain in two different chromosomes, but remain in two different chromosomes, but remain in two different chromosomes and segregate during gamete formation. Segregate during gamete formation. Okay, what is the meaning of the law? See here, the law says the two distinct alleles of the F1, they never come together to form a new trait, though they are in the same organism. Does capital T and small t come together, form an intermediate height? No. Capital T is in one chromosome, the other small t, meaning that allele, is in another chromosome and segregate during gamete formation. Segregate हो रहा है, that is the reason this and this can come together. This and this can come together and result in the formation of these plants. Once this plant obtained, Mendel was sure that this F1 has the allele for dwarfness. अगर F1 में allele for dwarfness होता ही नहीं, then these plants were not possible in the F2. Mendel was very much unsure that why these plants are tall. Is it not that this allele has not come? But he started assuming, no, it is not possible. This allele must have come, but for some reason they are not getting expressed. So he wanted to understand what is the concept. Are these alleles getting transferred, not getting transferred? So what he thought of doing, cross the first generation plants, and what he expected, exactly that happened. In the next generation, these plants appeared. So coming together of these two alleles definitely means the F1 is not homozygous, F1 is heterozygous condition. Am I clear? That is the statement of the law that you have written. Let me see if you have understood. You should be able to do this question. Write one question now that you get in your exams. Right? With the help of a Punnett square, 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 show the probable plants obtained when in the F2 generation, when probable plants obtained in the F2 generation, when pure plants with purple flowers, pure plants with purple flowers are crossed. Flowers are crossed with pure plants bearing white flowers. Pure plants bearing white flowers. Bearing B-E-A-R-I-N-G मतलब possessing, bearing white flowers. So now tell me, what are you supposed to do? The other day I taught you the 7 pairs of contrasting traits. Color of the flower, what were the traits?
Purple and white.
Purple and white. So कौन सा dominant है? Purple dominant है. तो purple को कैसे designate कैसे करेगा? कैसे करना है? Purple को कैसे designate करेंगे अभी? Capital P. तो capital P, if you are taking that as purple, तो white को कैसे designate करेंगे? नहीं, small p. W नहीं लेना है, small p. Whatever letter we take for the dominant, just the contrasting lowercase letter we'll have to take for the recessive. Okay? Now go ahead. Will you be able to start that? I'm going to call one of you to complete this here. Format यही same रहेगा. But now I had asked you Punnett square. So कौन सा step नहीं करना है? This step you don't have to do at all. इसके बाद straight away ये करना. चलो करो. I'll give you just 5 minutes and I'm going to call some of you to do this. One of you will have to do and show me. So I'm convinced that you have understood. Space out in the page. You should not write congested, neat, nice presentation. Stepwise, सारे चीज लिखना होता है. Then only you will get full 5 on 5. So T के जगह क्या लिखना है? Capital T के जगह capital P और small t के जगह
Small t.
बस अभी करो.
Capital P और small t को create for अलग से लेना पड़ेगा because it cannot be the same.
Me?
I'm just saying it. One.
ये वाले? तो capital P small p capital P small p ऐसे हो गया. हाँ. Hybrid purple लिखेंगे. Hybrid purple. As for the example, the words will change. No, phenotype will change. इसको Punnett square बोलते हैं. So in the question I have asked you with the help of a Punnett square. तो Punnett square अगर question में पूछा गया है, so definitely crisscross कर ही नहीं सकते हो उस मॉड्यूल में. Then Punnett square. अगर question में कुछ mention नहीं है Punnett square ऐसा, then you can go for any of the method that you want. Done? Complete किया? What's your name? Druni. Come and complete किया. चलो आ जाओ. कहाँ पे substitute करना है? Complete करो. What happened to your neck? कैसे? खेल रहे थे? You showed a doctor? Yeah. नहीं वहाँ से करो. वहाँ से करके आना है ना. You're going to school? Exercise बोला है कि क्या करना है? The other day I saw you. You were in your school uniform, standing with your dad, perhaps. That side, near that OES. No? Jaipuriya, no? Reliance. हो गया? डन? आया समझ में? नहीं तुम इसी में ही करो. डायरेक्टली नहीं, you have to start from there. Parent plan से start करके आना है ना. How did you do in your notebook? नहीं? Directly कैसे होगा? हाँ. All the steps. हाँ. Complete करो. All the steps. You also did only the Punnett square. एक ही बार में साइंटिस्ट बन जाना है बस. हाँ?
बड़े भी तो उसका
पहले पनिश करके से आ
नहीं
जाएगा।
वो पहले मैंने बोला था
नहीं, इसके लिए बाकी नहीं मिलेगा। You have to start with this. This is the format. पहले parent plans, उसके बाद F1, फिर F1 के gametes, फिर Punnett pair, and then the ratios. इसको cancel करो. I have not taught you this way. You should not write wrong. This is a big error. And this one. यहाँ पे खाली F2 generation लिखना है and write down the phenotypic and genotypic ratios. See exactly how it is written. क्या अभी Punnett pair complete कर लो? No, that is okay. उसको रहने दो. हाँ उसको रहने दो. That is only to understand that one plant is male, one is female. Understood all of you? Those of you who have done the Punnett pair straight away, you will redo it again. Neat, nice. Next class, I am going to see that. Next class, we are going to study the last law, that is law of independent assortment. Yes. Will the phenotypic ratio remain same or it will change? Same. The phenotypic ratio will remain the same. Yeah, complete. गैमेट्स लिखा इसके नीचे नीचे होना चाहिए। हाँ, ये जो दो गैमेट्स लिखे ना, ये दो गैमेट इसके नीचे, ये दो गैमेट इसके नीचे होना चाहिए। हाँ, तो ये गैमेट इसके नीचे नीचे होगा।
मेरे को क्या पता भाई मेरे बहुत गलत
एक समोसा खा लिया एक मत चल
कहाँ है इसको बॉक्स में
मैंने पूछे
भाई आप किसने
ले लो अपना अपना
भैया फिर से किसी ने
तू जा
भैया मेरा
तो
काम
तेरा फोन तो इसका तो दूसरा
हेलो
मैं जल्दी से आईसीसी आ रहा हूँ
बोल